Hello and welcome to another edition of Resources for Life TV at resourcesforlife.com. My name's Greg Johnson and this is a brief video about Skechers Shape-Up shoes. I'm going to go ahead and show you the pair that I'm wearing right now. Here's the inside of the left shoe, and you can see how the sole of this shoe is kind of rounded. And so when you walk, rather than having a sharp impact with the pavement, that roundedness of the shoe gives you a softer impact. In addition to that, there is quite a bit of cushion to the shoe. You can see the base of the shoe here has a lot of very soft rubber, and there you can see it really going in about a half an inch. So if you've ever walked on a track, a running track that has padding, or you've seen maybe in these playgrounds where there's a thick layer of rubberized foam, that's the kind of surface that you'll be walking on. So it's really the softest, most comfortable shoe I've ever worn, and I would highly recommend it. I think it's probably the only shoe I'm ever going to wear. But there are some drawbacks to the Shape-Ups, and so I want to address the drawbacks of the Shape-Ups as well. I talked to one person who said it was the worst shoe they've ever worn, and they immediately returned it. So there are obviously mixed opinions about the Shape-Up. Before I talk about why I think it's the best shoe in the world, let me talk about some of the drawbacks and why I actually think the shoe could probably kill you if you weren't wise about it. For example, let's say you're going up some stairs and you're not used to the lateral motion of this. Until you're really comfortable with these shoes, it might cause you to trip and fall, break a hip, then you're in the hospital, and if you're an elderly person, you could die from that. So yeah, the shoe could potentially kill you. As you can see, the base of the shoe not only is very soft and easily rolling forward and backward, but it also from side to side, there's not much stability. So it's a very unstable shoe. Again, I think it's the best shoe in the world, and I'm going to wear it, but you need to keep in mind it is unstable from front to back and from left to right. If the street you're walking on is icy, you'll notice you don't have a complete shoe touching the ground at any one point. There's only a very small point of contact between your shoe and the sidewalk. So if there's ice, snow, what have you, that could cause a more slippery type of experience than you'd be used to. So the shoe could be more dangerous. If you're walking on, let me go over here to this incline and show you. Let's say you're walking on some sort of surface that has an angle. You'll notice, the shoes, my foot's almost falling out of the shoe for two reasons. Number one, as I said, it's very unstable. It's very rubbery, it shifts from side to side very easily. And second of all, you're very high up. You have a higher center of gravity in the shoe. It's kind of like these trucks that are, basically there's a warning for some vehicles that are too high up when you're going around an exit ramp. You could potentially flip the thing over because it doesn't have a low center of gravity. The same true for these shoes. You don't want to be running, you wouldn't play tennis, for example, with these shoes. The shoes are heavy, and so that may be tiring for some people. I'm going to look at some of these other drawbacks. As I mentioned, pronation or supination, where your foot tends to bend toward the middle or bend toward the outside a little bit when you hit the ground. If you have that tendency, it might be exaggerated with this shoe. It's not flat, it's kind of unstable, it's very rubbery. Some people will say that it's tiring because it does work your muscles. So until you get trained, until you train your muscles to condition yourself to using these shoes, they may tire you out. Some people complain initially of backaches who've worn these shoes because you're engaging some back muscles that you haven't used before. If you overdo it, and I don't know what overdoing it is, maybe it's for some people 10 minutes, for other people it could be 5 minutes, but if you overdo it, you're going to end up with a backache. Let's see what else. Yeah, they're not very good for hiking, for uneven ground, or any kind of lateral side-to-side motion, sports, running, basketball, that kind of thing. Wouldn't be recommended for that. You can't really run with them. They're wobbly. I mentioned the high center of gravity. So, you know, that entire list would probably be enough for most people to say, whoa, I'm never going to try that shoe. But now let me talk about the positive side of this shoe and why I think it's the best shoe in the world and why I think I'm probably not going to wear any other shoe except for Skechers Shape-Ups ever. Knowing what I just explained to you, those are not insurmountable aspects of the shoe, right? You know, wear it when you're walking on a flat sidewalk like this. Don't wear it playing tennis, okay? But most of the walking I do is on sidewalks or indoors, or even if it's on a hiking path, it's on a fairly flat path. So I don't have the issues with the instability that some people might have. And so, you know, when I wear these, now that my body, it's taken a little bit of use, but my body's conditioned to wearing these shoes, now I feel like 10 years younger. I think it's amazing the energy level that you can have. Instead of feeling exhausted at the end of the day, you can feel energized at the end of the day from walking. I actually went to Mall of America, walked for 7 hours, which, you know, in traditional shoes, after about an hour, I would have been tired. 7 hours in these Skechers Shape-Ups, I felt great. So I mentioned they are low impact. They have this rolling motion when you're walking, so that's a real plus. They're good for hours of walking or standing. I find that standing is really tiring, but there's something about these shoes that kind of keeps your muscles engaged, and instead of having kind of a repetitive stress situation, there's, you know, a very wide variety of muscles that can be engaged when you're standing, when you're shifting back to forward, backward. You can really engage a lot of muscles when wearing these shoes, and that contributes to broad spectrum muscle engagement rather than a very narrow, repetitive, you know, with some shoes it's the same muscles that are engaged every time you step, you know. So that's good. And these also, I think, massage some very essential acupressure points in the body, in the muscle groups in the foot. So these acupressure points, as you're walking, get massaged. Now, it's a kind of massage that's not acute. There aren't any little nibs in there that would do the massaging, but it is actually a more broad, flat massaging sensation in the foot. And try them. You know, you can try it and you see what I'm talking about. And if you're familiar with acupressure, you know the health benefits of getting acupressure every day on your foot. That's basically what these shoes do. So. And for some people, if you've been having foot fatigue, if you've been getting tired walking, and at the end of the day feel kind of exhausted, you might want to try these out, and you may not need orthotics, which can cost $100, $200, $500 or more for orthotics. So all I would tell people is get a pair of these shoes. If you need to, you know, buy them, try them, wear them indoors. Most stores will take shoes back if they haven't been worn outdoors. And it might be the answer you're looking for. For me, they have been. They've been great. So I hope this review's been helpful. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'd be happy to cover more aspects of the shoe. Take care.